there we are, live and direct, coming at you
Hey,
from
kids.
outer space.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be sweet? Like if we just had our own space station, and it
We
was like
kinda do.
this pirate radio station where we just got to do this all
Yeah.
all day. That'd be the fucking
We should-
best.
Whenever we talk, you should put an echo on it and add like background, like computer static, like.
God, dial-up was so awful. But
Yeah.
like, did
We should space theme it. We should be like, hey, coming to you guys from outer space. It's day, it's episode, whatever.
did you
And,
ever watch Toonami growing up on Cartoon Network? Did you
I
have
did not.
cable? No. So
No, I had friends, Kyle.
So did I, Paul. Okay.
Dexter and Dee Dee are not friends.
No, Toonami was the freaking shit. It was so good. But it was like a block on television, like a production block. I'm not sure if that's the right term. But it'd be a bunch of like anime and action cartoons and stuff like that. But there was a host like of that segment. His name was Tom, but he was this robot that was in this spaceship. And he would like sit there and pretend to broadcast all of these shows down to Earth and stuff. I was like,
That's what our theme should be.
that's the fucking coolest.
That should be our theme. I mean, we're the Whatnauts anyway.
I mean, that's kind of what the whole thing was too. Like we're exploring
we
the
should
cosmos.
add like background noise and shit, you know? Like add an echo to everything we say.
Hello.
Make it accurate, bitch.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We'll get things started here. My name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Ron Burgundy.
Debatable.
I'm Paul King. Hello.
And we are the Whatnauts.
Resident Asian.
Yes, you are.
You're
You
goddamn right we are. Yeah.
Exactly. This is episode 9 of The Captain's Log, where every week Paul and I get to sit down, chat about life, catch up with one another, and get into all sorts of mischief that we don't normally get into on our other shows. This week, though, we are going to be talking about... I started another Netflix show, one that we have previously mentioned, that we hadn't started yet. On an episode of The Whatnauts. And then Paul has an interesting topic of discussion regarding religion and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So
I do, yeah.
stay tuned for that stuff. But first, Paul Kang, how are you?
I'm pretty good, man. I've been watching Netflix too.
Oh, yeah. Last week you mentioned you watched some documentary, The Eagle Huntress.
Yeah.
What was on the queue for this week?
This week. I started watching Money Heist, Spanish Netflix show.
Is that the one where there's like the 3 people in like the red costume? It looks like they're robbing a bank. They got mad. That looks fucking sick. I've seen it.
It's so good, man.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm
it's
gonna
like-
put that on
it's-
my queue.
It's all Spanish and shit. Okay, I'm gonna give you the setup, but I'm giving nothing away. You know, it's a heist. It's a money heist. You know.
Right.
And they're robbing a place, and there's a guy named the Professor, and he arranges
The
the best-
Professor.
the best.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
And
Professor
one
Oak, you
basketball.
know what I mean? Yeah, and he's like, here's your Pokedex and stuff. Go catch me some fucking Charizards.
Oh,
Anyway,
sweet.
I'm high as fuck right now. I'm like so I'm like fucking I'm like
Paul,
riding Jesus Christ
at
on a space station.
at this point, you don't even need to tell people that you're high. Like
I like saying
they
it.
can
I like
just
supporting the
assume
community.
every episode Paul Kang is gonna be
baked.
high.
I'm like a baker. I'm baked. The Kangster is here. I'm the greatest man on earth. I'm God. I'm Gandhi.
Kang the Conqueror.
I'm the best. Find me at Kang the Conqueror. Follow my Instagram, Paul Kang Art. Okay. I ain't a little bitch.
You
I ain't a
should
little bitch.
you should make those one and the same there if you can. Is Paul Kang Art on Twitter taken?
Maybe. I'll try.
I should see, because that unified branding. Good stuff.
Paul King Art. I'm making a website too. Anyway, I'm watching a Netflix show. I'm like, Sarah, you want to watch this? And we started watching it. She's like, yeah, I'm bored. I was like, I want to keep watching it. So this guy named the Professor,
Right.
he goes around Spain, gets like the best of the best criminals and thugs, and he's like, I have this perfectly executed plan. I've been coming up with it since I was a child, you know,
Yep.
and I've been building on it every year. And he's like, if you follow these rules fucking directly, we'll be so rich. You can't. Your biggest problem is going to be how am I going to spend this money? And so like, you know, like for like 5 months they're preparing and shit like that, and you know everyone's getting to know each other, and then like they pull it off. And the show is a mix of what's happening currently, and then, you know, flashbacks.
Like
you
how
know.
like how he's coming up with the plan.
Yeah. What the plan is,
okay,
and
cool.
so it's slowly being revealed in real time with flashback help. It's really cool. It's like Lost, but it's like Lost if it was a bank robbery.
It reminds
You know
me
what I mean?
more of Prison Break. Did you
Sure,
ever watch
sure.
that show? Right, where he's
Yeah,
like
a little bit. Yeah.
breaking out his brother, but then they do the flashbacks of like how the tattoos that is his like escape plan,
Yeah.
like how those tie in,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, and they really delve into motivation of the characters and why they're doing this, and so you're empathizing. You're like, ooh, I want them, and you empathize with both the cops and the robbers. You know what I mean? Everyone's humanized, and you're just like, oh,
Nice.
get away, don't get away. You're an asshole. Oh, now I like you. Like, oh, what's going on? You know? And so you're pulled into this human drama of like a perfectly executed, a perfectly planned bank robbery, and then you introduce Murphy's Law, where everything can go wrong,
right.
and it will, and it does, you know, and that's happening while the actors are earning you the motivation for the characters. Like, man, it's shit is going down, and now you understand why the stakes are so high, and you're like, no, what, why, you know, and everyone has this beautiful, you know, Spanish accent, you know, they're all from Madrid and stuff, and they're la cinco la ta 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 la 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 la. Oh, it's so sexy.
It's like actual like Spanish. It's not like Mexican Spanish.
It's like Spain, mainland
Okay.
Spain.
Sweet.
Spanish.
Cool.
Like la cinco la flamenca, all that shit. And they must have scoured Spain for the most gorgeous people, because they made the most gorgeous people the bad guys. And so whenever they're talking to each other, you're like, oh my gosh, just like, fuck me right now, just fuck me.
Yeah, it's like, this is so wrong, but I love it.
And they're thieves, and they're robbing shit with guns, and they're like, oh, it's a sexy show. Like, there's like outright sex, but it's also just sexy, and the stakes
Netflix.
are high.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. You understand why they're doing this. It's a great show. You have to read a lot of subtitles, and sometimes like they talk about heavy shit. They have to like kind of pause and like, oh, what? Okay. And they also have if you're really lazy, they also have a dub version with English. So you can't go wrong with the show. Like, just give it a shot. It's really fun. It's all kind of in real time with flashbacks. You're gonna have a great time.
Cool. I've put it on my queue. Funny that you brought this show up. Because the show I've been watching on Netflix, or that I started, is also a foreign Netflix original show.
Let's hear it.
So it was about a month ago that you and I did an episode of the Whatnauts on a Netflix show called Dark, which was a German-produced Netflix show about time travel. And we both really liked it. We actually got got a comment on YouTube that was like, "Hey, great review of the show."
Yay!
But I remember at the end of our discussion on that show, I mentioned how Netflix does that thing, like right when you start to finish a Netflix show, they show the trailer for like another Netflix show. They're like, if you like that, check this one out, you know?
It's like a Coke dealer who's like,
exactly.
Right, here you go. Hey, by the way, I got this new shit. I'm gonna give you a free sample.
Don't stop watching. Sample. Yeah.
It's all drug diplomacy. If you study it, it's like drug dealers should study this shit, because it's like that's how you expand exponentially.
Dude, imagine that. A subscription-based like I know they have like weed deliveries and stuff like that. Like you know, they've branched out that way. And I guess technically, maybe in some cases, a medical use of marijuana could be like a subscription-based thing. But how crazy would that be? Like a subscription-based model for drugs. Like,
I mean,
I'm gonna pay you $20 a month for like as much weed as I can get.
I mean, I'm sure that's in play. Like, I'm not saying this is the case, but let's just say that for some reason, coincidentally, for no reason or want of my own, all my friends happen to be drug dealers. I'm not saying that's the case at all. I'm denying all of this. I'm just saying hypothetically, let's say for some reason, just who I talk to, I enjoy being around intelligent people, people that know how to think and manage and, you know, move numbers and stuff. I like those kinds of people. For some reason, I'm not saying this is the case, but if it was,
go on.
all my friends would be drug dealers. And it like you said, it's a business.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a legitimate like subscription.
Sure.
To the point where it's like you recognize people just because, you know.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking.
You know? Anyways, though, so at the end of our discussion of the Netflix show Dark, I mentioned how they showed me a trailer for another Netflix show. The show also happened to be another Netflix show that was produced in Germany. And it was kind of one of those things, like I had heard about Dark, and that was the only like German produced Netflix show that I knew of. Like this was like, oh, that's a first. You know, like I've seen a couple foreign shows, but not much, right? And so I had watched Dark, and then the trailer that they showed me was for a show called Babylon Berlin, which is the show that I started watching this past week. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I really like it.
What was the name again?
Babylon Berlin, and it's set
Berlin.
in between World War I and World War II, and it seems kind of crime noir-ish stuff like that happening in like late 1920s with like the flappers and all of that stuff.
Cool.
Real like Art Deco stuff. So like art wise, it's not the right term, but like style wise, it looks really, really cool. Granted, considering where the show takes place, it's in Germany and it's in the like late 1920s. There's not much diversity, right? So like if you're going into the show wanting diversity, this obviously will not be the show for you. Which hopefully you would know that kind of beforehand. But it's at first it's also a show that doesn't spoon feed you at all. Like it kind of assumes you know what's happening, which, considering it's a German-based show, like that's their audience, right? They kind of expect them to know the history a little bit more. Me, being an American who is educated, if you can even call it that, in the American public school system, I know shit about Germany in that time period, except that they're bad. Like, it's just like they become the Nazis. That's all that we know. And so I was like, I don't really understand what's going on, like politically or with the government here. Like, I'm sure I can understand certain things will happen. Like I have like a very, very vague sense, but like the exact details, I'm completely lost. And I was like, it looks.
If you want a gist of it, people are mad and desperate, and watch out for a guy with a Hitler mustache.
Yeah.
Named Hitler.
Which it at least doesn't look like this is about Hitler or like the rise of, you know, his party and stuff like that. But I
Dude, wouldn't it be so badass if it was secretly a Marvel show and like one episode, like in the middle of it, Bucky Barnes shows up
that'd
for like
be
Captain
ridiculous.
America, and you're like, what the fuck? It like just blows up. Everyone's like, oh my god.
That'd be strange. But yeah. So like I was on
Business.
Twitter mentioning like I don't really know the exact history or how accurate this actually is. It seems like it kind of has to do with like the rise and fall of communism within Germany and like all of that stuff. And then someone on Twitter saw my tweets and was like, "Yeah, it's kind of about the Weimar Republic and like the threats that they're facing and stuff like that."
Yeah, dude, it's about the Weimar Republic and the threats they're facing. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's this new cop, and he's chasing down some scandal about some like pornography film, and
Ooh,
one of
you sold me. I'm gonna watch that right now.
one of the guys in the film must be some kind of important leader or something. I don't really know, but yeah, it's beautifully
Wow.
shot. The production value is incredible. I'm wanting to see more, but I'm still just like I don't really know what's happening, but I love it. It's great.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been watching.
It's relevant to
still-
now. I'm sure. I'm sure you can see parallels.
I don't know. I wouldn't think so. Well,
No.
maybe, but I don't see any. But I've been reading a lot of comic books, too.
Ooh.
Been reading some
Ooh.
Green Lantern stuff.
Ooh.
Kind of in the early 90s. Now I think I'm in like 92, 93-ish.
Was that when he was
that year.
black or white?
There's multiple Green Lanterns. So John Stewart is the Black Green Lantern. He's active, while Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner are all active, and they're all humans. So
I'm imagining like the black Green Lantern like hosting the Daily Show when you said that. Sorry.
sure.
John Stewart. Anyway.
But so I've been reading a bunch of that, but we also have an episode of the Whatnauts coming up at the end of April, I believe, which will be our crunchy peanut butter episode, which, long story short, is an episode that we do once every 3 months that allows us to basically consume something that will take longer than a week. And we've been
That's what she
reading
said.
Invincible. By
Yeah.
Robert Kirkman, and so I started that, and I'm 3 volumes in so far.
You like it?
I've actually read a little bit further previously. I think I've read like the first 4 or 5. But yeah, I like it. I think knowing what that comic book is now, it's interesting to see where it started,
Okay.
because it's very, very different.
Changes.
Yeah, a lot. So the original creative team, the guy that was doing the artwork, he dropped off the book at like issue 11, something like that. And then Ryan Otley, who's stayed with the book since then, he's been on that book the entire time. But when he came on, they like revealed this twist that was happening within the book, and all of a sudden it gets like hyper violent, and there's a lot more like blood and guts, and it's just like everything you wish the like Marvel or DC comics would do, but they can't, right?
Yeah.
They can't show like excessive amounts of blood, or they can't cuss, and they can't show like sex and all that stuff. And it's just like this book is like, fuck it, we're doing it.
It's crazy.
So it's a lot of fun though. I'm
That's
enjoying
good.
it so
I'm
far.
excited.
Yeah, those
Excited.
those first 3 volumes is like the transition. It's like this is where it started. It's kind of tame. We're setting the story up. You kind of get to know the characters.
Fasten
and
your
then
seatbelts.
yeah, like end of volume 3 is just like bam. Like here's the action,
Yeah.
So it's sweet. It's fun. It's good. Good stuff.
I'm excited.
Hell
You should all be
yeah.
excited.
Definitely.
I haven't read any yet, but my excitement is palpable.
Well, we have about 2 months left, I believe, before we got to record that one.
Enough time.
Yeah, so there's I think like 140 something issues, so it's a lot, but it is a fairly recent comic, right? So you can read them pretty quickly. Like I think I read those 3 volumes in like 3-4 hours.
It's not The Dark Knight Returns, you know.
Well, yeah, that's also just a different style of writing. It's more dense, you know.
Okay. We'll be okay.
So,
and our listeners will be okay.
Have you read any comic books recently? Every once in a while, you'll be like, you know what? I just decided to read a comic book. I'm like, oh, there you go. Good for you, Paul.
I have not.
No, cool.
However,
that's fine.
I've been working on a lot of art and stuff.
Oh, nice.
I
Tell
made
me
my
about
website. I haven't published my website yet, but it's all in place. I just got to fill in the parts about my T-shirt business.
Mm-hmm.
A side business.
Is this like is this going to be like the one-stop shop for all things
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
Kang?
Dude, it's so simple. It's like
you
type in paulkangart.com. Not yet. Don't type it in yet. Press enter. And you see my name, Paul Kang, right underneath, South Korean artist. Then you see, big work. By that I mean like paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see illustrations. Then you see podcast. Then you'll see the T-shirt thing. Then you'll see about me and contact. It's all there. Like everything that I do is there. And and it's really simple. I made like these icons, these kind of cool badass icons. Like for journal, for illustration, I made like a black and white journal.
Mm-hmm.
Like really simple icon. I just put it hand drew it though.
Sweet.
Just put it in there. Yeah, like I'm just building this thing, and I think it's hard being your own boss because this is what it is.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Is you have to get up in the morning and be like, all right, well, let's do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you've never done that before. You're so used to someone else being like, even if it's a difficult task, for some reason your body is like, all right, I'll do this grueling thing as long as someone else is in charge. But when you're in charge, you're like, fuck this, I'm gonna take a nap.
It's difficult, especially as an artist, where the like desire is to actually create. Right? I mean, you can argue
gotta get up
that
and create.
Creating a website is creating. I mean, I just used the word create, right? But like, I know coding is not your thing.
Well, I'm using Squarespace right now, and like, there's no coding involved. It's literally like click and drag. It's just very, very simple.
Right.
I see why it's booming.
Yeah.
And I'll gladly do commercials for a Squarespace, honestly. It's the best thing. They haven't even paid me yet, and it's like, I'm saying it right now, it's the best thing.
Squarespace, hit us up.
It saved my marriage. Saved my marriage. I'm not even married, and it already saved it.
Saved it. Saved by
I
Squarespace.
would give it to a blind orphan. It's that trustworthy.
There you go. You heard it here first, folks.
But, dude, I don't know. I feel like a 40-year-old man. Like, this technology just blossomed,
Yeah.
Under our feet, and we didn't even realize it. It became the air we breathed. It became the water we drank. There was no guidebook for this.
Right.
For everything else, up until that point, there was always a guidebook. Like, we've been doing this thing for thousands of years. This is how you get shit done. You know what I mean? And that's what we grew up with, and then bam, this hit. There was no guidebook.
The
It
internet.
happened. It just so quickly.
Yeah.
And I sympathize. Like, I look at old men, and I'm like, dude, I feel it, bro. I'm only 26. I know I'm a baby. But, like, you
all
and
these
I and
dang
our generation.
kids and their hippity hopping and
you and I are in a generation, in a weird, almost like a time loop where we understand how old people feel. Even when we're still very young.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to keep up with this technology,
Yeah.
I can't even keep up with music. I literally don't know what 16-year-olds listen to. I would say here's how embarrassing it is. I would walk up to 16-year-olds and I'd be like, "Hey, do you guys like this?" And they'd laugh at me. They'd be like, "Dude, what the fuck? You're
Do
so
y'all
old."
remember Chingy?
Yeah. I'd be like, "You guys like Kendrick?" And they'd be like, "Kendrick? No." Like, you know, and I'd be
Except
like, "Why?"
they would say yes on that one, but
Maybe. But you know what I mean? But like they're listening to such different shit. They're getting high on I felt
laundry
so old
detergent.
going through. Yeah, I literally don't know if that's real or if it's a meme. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that old.
I think it's both. Like, it was real and it's just dumb kids being dumb, and
The
then
slang
it became
is evolving daily.
A meme.
Dude, the slang's evolving daily, and I'm just like, I don't know what the latest trend is. You know, I feel like my father. And I never thought I'd feel this way, but I am, and I'm like, oh, I'm an old fucking man. My girlfriend says it all the time. You're an old man, and like for me, making a website, like that's not how I was taught at school. They'd be like, drag your portfolio around, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, put it on a CD, and then you just give it to it. That's how we're
What's
raised.
a CD, Paul?
Exactly. And so, like, making this website, for some reason, I never got on the boat. I'm like, I'm on a paddle boat right now. I'm like, hey, hold on a second, and I just never caught on. And
yeah,
and I'm making it now. I'm doing it, but what I'm trying to say, if you're gonna take anything away from this, is like I feel like a 60-year-old man, just like old and brittle, and I'm just like, all right, I guess I just gotta make this website now. I'm like, all right, you know, I'm 26. I shouldn't feel this way, you know. It's terrifying.
Speaking
like,
of
we're
all of that
through time.
in like a business sense, like I can relate because like as an artist, I kind of want to focus on the things that I want to make, like all this stuff to promote yourself and use Twitter to do all that. Like, it's difficult. I remember when I was in college and we started a school. What the fuck do you call them? Like one of those like school group things. Shit, I feel old now.
Like a social studies club. Like,
a club. That's what it was. But like a legitimate
like a media
one.
Club. Like a media club.
No, so it was with my old dance crew. Yeah. Like we started to, like, when we originally formed, it was 12 of us. Wow. And that, like, within a year, like that following year, I think when we had our like open house to be like, hey, you guys should come out and dance with us, I think there was like 20 people. It was like, cool, yeah. The next year after that, we had like 90 people there. We were just like, what the fuck? You know, like, we're no buddies, but we've made this much of a wave to like attract almost 100 people. And so we're sitting there like,
Kodachrome?
No. This was our actual dance crew blank canvas. Which is still, there's still a thing here at Virginia Commonwealth University. If you're into dance and you want to take free dance workshops each Thursday night, blank canvas. Go check them out. But yeah, like it got to a point where like, okay, like we need to like organize, because right now we're just kids doing whatever the fuck we want, right? And so we're like, we need to make this legitimate. Like, we have enough people to like give us, like, if we ask them to pay dues, these people would. But we can do that on top of getting school funding if we make it a club, like an official school club. So we did that, and I was one of the officers. I was the treasurer. And it was me and two of my other friends. And good God, I felt so bad for the girl who was the vice president, Yoshiko.
Christ.
Thank
God she's
she
Asian,
is a fucking trooper. I love her to death.
It's Asian blood, man. It's an immigrant blood.
Yeah, she.
It's that immigrant blood.
She's amazing.
It's that cat shit eat every night, man. I can say this because I'm Asian.
but
immigrant mentality, man.
because we had no idea what we were doing. Like literally, one time we came out of a meeting with some
Blood.
kind of like blood. No, we came out of this meeting with like some school board type of thing to like give them a proposal on, hey, this is what our budget needs are. We want this much money, and basically they told us they like ripped it apart. Well, like, are you going to be traveling? You guys are going to need some kind of like liability form, and all of that stuff.
Buses and shit.
Yeah, and all this stuff. We're just like, oh shit, fuck. But in the end, they were like, we'll help you out. We will do this. However, you should have asked for more money. Like, we'd be happy to give you more. And we were like, okay. And so afterwards, we walk out, and the guy who was the president, like, we're kind of taking it all, like, we're still processing it all, right? Because they speak in all that, like, big business jargon and stuff, and we're just like, we're art students. Like, what the fuck, And we're sitting there, and me being the one who's supposed to pay attention to the money stuff, I figured out that it was like, oh, we could have asked for more money. And I mentioned that. And then the guy who was the president, literally the next thing goes, oh, wait, we can ask for more money.
Idiot.
And yeah,
why is he an officer?
And me and Yoshiko just like facepalm. We're just like, God damn it, you idiot! We just said that.
If I was in that meeting and they said we'd be glad to offer you more money, I'd be like, I'd sit down. I'd be like, all right, how much? I'd just sit down, and I'd be like, how much?
They were like, go back and revise it, and then come back to us, right?
Man, you need a shark in those waters, man. You need fucking me.
For sure. We had no idea.
I'm Conor McGregor in that fucking office meeting.
Back to Yoshiko, because I felt really, really bad for her, because we had no idea what we were doing, especially me. Like, we ended up...
How old are you at this point?
I was a sophomore?
16, 17?
No, I was like 19, 20, something like that.
Oh, in college?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was still high school. Never mind.
No. College. And yeah, so like we just didn't know what we were doing, and so we kind of ended up not going through with a lot of stuff, and so I just kind of dropped all my duties and didn't think about it. Because that's like, I didn't want to fill out paperwork. I didn't want to have to like count money and figure out tax stuff and shit like that. Like, I didn't know how.
Do you regret stepping away?
Well, that's like, I stepped away without really stepping away, right? Like, we just kind of stopped doing it, even though we were still technically a
was there
school
no legal
club.
Paperwork? Anything? Not a form that said Kyle is one of these motherfuckers and.
Yeah, there was like I was on the thing, but it's not like what I'm saying is we never went through with the thing to officially get our budget and stuff like that, just because we got so busy with wanting to do the actual dancing. Like, that was what we were focused on.
You guys needed a manager,
right? Exactly. We needed people that stepped in and did all that paperwork for us, and that's all they did. Like, they weren't dancers. Like, we needed someone like that who could actually be a treasurer and know what to do, who could actually be a president and know what to do, right?
I would have reached out. Like, I'm not shitting on you at all. I'm just like, yeah, I would have reached out and been like, is anyone qualified to manage? It'll look good on your resume.
Which I mean, that's the thing. Like, we could manage. Like, we were managers in our jobs and stuff like that, but there's a little bit of a difference between like managing people, and that's kind of your only responsibility, right? Versus like filling out tax forms and dealing with a school and like a board of directors and shit like that. Like that in a company, that's higher up, right? Like, that's the president of the company dealing with the chair members and stuff like that, but we were all just art kids that wanted to do art kid things. We wanted to dance, And that's kind of what it is now. Like, for you making your website, I know you just want to make artwork and draw and do whatever the fuck comes to your mind.
Yeah.
And making a website is just like, God damn, I feel old.
I literally need someone to just follow me around and scan my shit. Just like, I'll be like, hey, I drew this on a napkin. He's like, perfect. He takes a picture of it, scans it, and puts it online.
Speaking of that,
30 of the most popular hashtags. You know what I mean? I for some reason, like, I'm not lazy. Like, I stay up nights working on multiple pieces of artwork.
Yeah.
You know, trying to get it just right. I'm not lazy. It's just I cannot sit down and scan. I can't do that shit. I need someone to do it for me. I need like an assistant / manager.
Yeah. It doesn't really feel like you're producing something.
No, yeah. And like, and back in the day, you didn't need to worry about that. You just drew, and then you put it on an envelope and you sent it to someone. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to fucking make the rounds. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a lazy piece of shit or I'm just not. I'm really not.
I don't think so.
For that,
I think a lot of artists, I've seen a lot of like artists who get married. Their spouse is the one that becomes their like manager, right?
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
They're their business contact. They're the ones that sets up all the appointments and keeps track of all the money and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, though,
it's tough. Yeah.
The Whatnauts would absolutely love a social media manager.
Oh my god.
So that we don't have to do this shit.
Whose dick and asshole pussy do I gotta suck?
Yeah.
To get us, I'll literally do that. Like, I'll pay.
Which, like, I want to get us to the point where we can expand, where we can bring on more hosts, where we'll have a show that neither of us are hosts on, right? Like, that would be freaking sweet. Where I mean, like,
the big bucks.
you and I would still be involved in the like creative behind the scenes of like, okay, here's maybe some of the parameters, you know, of things.
We'd still do our own podcast.
Can't do right, but like, if we can kind of steer the ship, that would be sweet. And we can just sit back and make content. That would be sweet.
Yeah. And if you're wondering, if whoever's listening, if you're wondering, like, oh wow, they're really obsessed with power. No, we are obsessed with good content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
we just want to steer the boat and be like, this is cool. This is how we engage our audience.
Downside is we don't have the means to pay anyone to do this.
Not yet.
Because this is literally a passion project for us, right?
Yeah.
You know, Paul and I have similar interests, but we also don't like a lot of the same stuff. Like, he's not as big into comics as I am, or video games or stuff like that. You're more into like science and robots and politics and
social
stuff like
politics,
that. And I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to read Batman, you know?
Yeah. But like, what I do is like, I'll bring that shit into comic books, you know?
Yeah. And I say all of that because like we are doing this because we want to talk about those things. Like we want to have those conversations. We want to be passionate about that, and we need to find other people who are just as passionate about doing those things, who are willing to, you know, work our social media channel for free, you know, or to be a co-host sometimes on the show for free because they want to be a part of what we're doing and they believe in it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I digress.
No. For me, the reason why I do this is I just want to make if I make one person just go, that's enough. You know what I mean? That's why I do it. I just want to make the world just a little bit brighter. I don't have a big message. I don't have. Smile. I have no artist statement. It's just like, I just want to make people laugh. I just want to. Most people live a shitty life, and I just want to put a little fucking Christmas light right there.
Little tiny little ray of sunshine.
That's all I want to do.
Little tiny little ray of sunshine.
Yeah. I don't want to get rich. I don't. Yeah, no.
Speaking of that, though, if we have made you laugh, if we have made that's terrible grammar. If we've
Bad
made you
grammar.
smile, if we've made you laugh, if you enjoy our show, please consider supporting us on patreon.com/the Whatnauts. Throw us a buck.
Everyone needs money, man. Everyone.
Yeah, we would love for you guys to help support this show because, like we've said, it is a passion project for us. We put our own hearts, souls, and wallets into this thing. But that said, if you have no money to give, that's A-okay. Just enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Let's move on here, though, Paul. You brought up something to me on Sunday that you were like, I think I know what I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
on Tuesday for the Captain's Log.
Yeah,
Talk to me, Paul King. Talk to me, Stacy.
So,
The goofy movie.
I want to talk about how the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and also DC, sure, the DC Cinematic Universe,
It can kind of be said for pop culture things in general, but
but involving comic books.
Sure.
You know, and this is my thesis. Due to scientific advances and sociology and psychology and you know the great science invasion, you know, which I'm fully behind.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It
Indeed.
blasted a blow to religion of all types, but mostly Christianity, that it will never recover from. From these ashes, there's a power vacuum. You know, when the dust settles, there's a power vacuum. And I believe that comic books, and more importantly, Your Honor, comic book cinematic universes have filled that power vacuum and have taken over the public consciousness thirst for religion. That's my thesis, Your Honor, and I'm willing to provide examples to
For the lay people in the back, he's saying the MCU is the new religion.
Yeah. And tell me I'm wrong. What do you think? What do you think about what I just said before I break it down?
Well, let me ask you this: how do you define religion?
Whatever brings together a massive amount of people of different creeds, something that unites, a common theme that unites many different people, something that uses symbolism, mythologies, stories, stories especially of miraculous deeds, of strength, bravery, healing, to tell a story that fills the people with awe, and
So it's meant to inspire them.
yeah, and motivates them, and it usually has someone in the background who has good intentions but also wants to get rich, collect money. And usually it has a figurehead and some apostles who rally around him, and through their stories they perpetuate this cycle. AKA Iron Man is Jesus Christ.
The Avengers are the 12 apostles.
Exactly. He started it all. It started with, it is literally a white bearded guy with a goatee, and he can fly.
Sure.
He drinks wine. You know.
Yeah, like I think. I mean.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I agree with you. Actually. Great content. Let's end the show there.
I rest my case. Done. Bitch.
Case closed.
Drop mic.
No,
I mean,
like I think that's a good definition of religion. Like it's something that brings people together under like a common belief system that inspires them to kind of be better. And
sure. Yeah.
You're right. Like you named elements that like, well, they use stories and mythology and, you know, symbolism. There's often, you know, people trying to take advantage and get rich and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like the
hostility
people who will
when the
distort
God
it.
There's hostility when the God does not deliver.
Right. There's
Usually
people
the
who
God
will distort it, and those are the DC fans, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Sure.
DC fans don't hate me.
There's the apostates, you know. There's
The false prophets, the
fallen
Pharisees.
ones.
No, kidding.
Yeah, the Pharisees. There's even parallels to that shit, you know.
But
The ones who can't see the real message, who fail and fall over their gilded thrones.
Like I said at the beginning, though, I think it can almost be said of a lot of pop culture phenomenons, right? Like anything that hits society that hard and is that popular, and so many people like it obsessively, to the point where you know their clothes are based on it, their schedules are based on it.
They're tattooing these gods and goddesses onto their fucking skin.
It's kind of crazy, right?
They look to it for public opinion.
Sure, their worldview.
It's you don't wake up, sheeple. Wake up. Like you're not atheist. It's so funny to me that so many people are like,
amen. Welcome to the church of the MCU.
You still believe in Jesus? Go fuck yourselves. Yet they're willing to don costumes, wait in line in the cold for fucking hours, and they all pile together, faces all in the same fucking direction, and then their God appears, and they literally cheer and cry. They're waiting all year for their God to appear. Are the fucking clouds.
It's Bucky Barnes!
You're telling me you're not a Christian? Go fuck yourself. Iron Man, where do his powers come from? From his fucking hands. Who else got holes in his hands? Jesus. Who else got a goatee? Go fuck yourself. He flies literally in cross formation. So I don't know why you're proud making fun of these fucking Bible Belt thumpers, Rust Belt thumper. You're fucking Christians too, man. It's all religion. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
there's the world works. Well, God moves in mysterious ways. The world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Too. Like we typically don't get into like religion and politics on this show.
Yeah.
But I think if you really just take a step back and honestly try to get an objective view, both sides are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't feel like I should have to argue empathy with one of those sides, right? You know, be good to people. Come on, guys. You know, but like, it's like when you look at it like that, yeah. If you include the MCU in that kind of viewpoint where it has this massive following around the world.
Yeah.
People rearrange their schedules to crowd into buildings with chairs all facing one direction.
Standing room only.
Yeah. And they're watching these events unfold. They're hearing these stories. And there are people behind the scenes getting rich off of these stories. And there's
fucking criminal.
It's changing their worldview. But I think you were kind of going into a topic that was like, you know, if you're you didn't say this specifically, so correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. You were kind of equating people who like comics to liberals, and like this kind of vocal liberal, you know, feminist standpoint of like, oh, the right is you know, they say they're Christian, but they're not really, because they don't like, you know, they're mean to people, they're racist, you know, they're this, they're that, you know.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you were getting at? Maybe I shouldn't ask that for the sake of the show here, but
I think I was so high I don't remember at all what you're talking about. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to ask the question.
That's fine. Like I think ultimately what it's getting us into is this idea that like there are these multiple kind of stances or
Sure.
viewpoints that all have similar kind of ways of viewing the world, even if they're on opposite sides.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Like you're all looking at the same pizza, but no matter where you look at it, it's still pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you're standing too close to the elephant. Just back out a little.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of difficult to talk about without being derogatory, which then is also another discussion, right? Of just like everyone's walking on eggshells these days. Can't talk about anything. But
can I just say one thing though?
Sure.
Just kind of trying to bring it back to the whole religion thing. Who would you say is the main central guy in Marvel Universe?
Well, I think at first Iron Man. I think that's the obvious choice, right?
Sure,
but I think where we've gotten to now, Captain America.
Captain America. Let's break down Captain America, all right?
Sure.
He is kind of the figurehead of this movement, all right?
Yeah.
Young man.
A lot like Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Young man, heart of gold, right? Humble his whole life. There's no one better, all right? Untouched by the evils of the world, you know. He goes through something incredible, and he starts leading people, right? He becomes his own man, right? Starts leading people, starts recruiting Bucky, all these people, his best friends. They all do missions. He saves the world. He dies, and he comes back he comes back. He says, I'll come back one day, and he does. And in the Bible, it says Jesus will, there will be a great war, and he will fight Satan, And who's the main bad guy fighting Captain America? It's this guy who's a red-skinned Nazi. Like, that's Satan, man. Like, that's Satan. He's got red skin. He's a Nazi. He hates the Jews. That's Satan. And it's just like it just got replaced, Jesus got I'm not Christian. I'm not like advocating for fuck that. It's just like all I'm saying is like in the same way that Christianity how the pagan holidays became Christmas.
Yeah.
Same way Christianity became Marvel.
Yeah. One comment, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I kind of see. So I grew up Christian. I know you did too, Paul.
Yeah.
And one of the things that kind of always stood out to me was how Jesus was very like, look, I'm not going to get involved in politics and stuff like that. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's, right? And he was always about like, it's more about the heart of the law rather than the letter of the law.
Yeah, that's what Civil War's about.
Captain America is a lot like that too, because a lot of people think he's this pro-America, super like nationalism, patriot thing. Yeah. When often he's actually fighting against the government, being like, no, what you guys are doing is wrong. Like this, like in the comic books, he goes against the Superhero Registration Act because he's like, look, this is against my freedoms. Like as an American, I can do what I want, with my life, and which him saying that sounds very like America, I can do what I want.
He just happens to be American. He happens to love his country.
Right, but it's like he loves his country, but it's like the ideal of this country and not the government of the country, right?
Sure.
And what the country can be is what he prescribes to.
What he fights for, yeah.
He fights to be better. He fights for that better country where people can practice whatever religion they want to. They can have any kind of sexuality they want to, They can even down to stuff like they can go into any bathroom that they want to,
Yeah.
He's fighting for that country, but he's like, oh no, he's Captain America. He's the government's little lapdog,
Yeah.
It's like, no, have you ever read a Captain America comic book? Which is kind of what Jesus did too. He was,
Totally.
He was just like, look, guys, like this is not like
you're hypocrites.
You might think, you guys might think that I'm here to. I mean, specifically for the Jews, the Jews were expecting this Nazarene warrior, right, to lead this rebellion against the Romans. And he's just like, no, like that's not what we're, we need to do it this way. Like I'm not here to be the thing that you want me to be.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I'm here to break everything, And I'm not saying that, Stan Lee is secretly a Christian and he's, I'm not saying
we're
that.
not sitting here with tinfoil hats and be like, let me tell you, kids, the MCU is evil because it's religion. No.
No way am I saying by hook or by crook or this person. I'm not pointing fingers at all. All I'm saying is this.
Kevin Feige is getting rich.
We just happen to be Kevin Feige is the Apostle Paul. We just happen to be a species that loves to feel awe.
Sure.
Earned collectively. Wow. We pay those $10 to feel to go wow. Okay?
Yeah.
And we will, and it always has to feel earned. No one can fake awe. No one can fake worship. Because that's the word here, worship. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
Or rather, the person who is saying they're the shit cannot fake it. It has to be real. It has to feel real. And so we're the species that, take whatever we can get our hands on. It used to be a religion, not anymore. Now, I'm not even saying it's special. I'm just saying it's just something out there, one of 1,000, and it just happens to work the best.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it so closely follows a religion that for generations we've been accustomed to.
It's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do have a question.
You pass it on to your kids. If you ever have kids, you're gonna let them.
Sure.
You're gonna fucking throw Spider-Man at them.
Yeah.
It's a religion. It's fucking religion.
Sunday school is gonna be reading comic books, right? And this
Saturday
is
morning.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, like Dad. Why do we have Easter? Dad, why is there a new rebirth of the universe? You know what I mean?
Why is there universe relaunching? No, I have a question for you to kind of wrap things up. We don't have to dwell on this too long. Maybe more of something to think about.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
How does religion work in a world where superheroes exist?
What do you mean by when you say superheroes?
Obviously, it doesn't negate it, right? Like, if, let's say hypothetically, God exists.
Yeah.
Right? He's 100% real. A lot of people may not know it. Like, we, being the outside, this is just for our example, but the people within the comic books don't have any way to prove that God exists and stuff like that. So there's Christians as we know them today and stuff like that, right? Yeah. But superheroes also exist. People who can shoot laser beams out of their eyes, who can fly, who can who can shape shift,
doing shit better than even Jesus did. They're like
potentially that's one way to look
cooler.
At it. Yeah, but like, how does religion have a place in that universe anymore?
I think it does, but it's we've actually kind of gone back in time. Do you remember in the Bible when you're reading it, it's like, oh, these are our gods. Who are your gods? You know what I mean? There weren't a bunch of atheists who were like, you believe in God? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? No. It was like, oh, well, that's your god?
Sure,
cool.
There's multiple religions.
Yeah. It was cool to have lots of gods back then. You know what I mean?
But but like the idea. I guess what I'm thinking of is like, quote quote God,
Yeah.
right, is supposed to be this all-powerful, supreme being.
Yeah.
But then
How can he compete? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, maybe? I don't know. But like, if we live in a universe where Thanos can collect the Infinity Gauntlets and rearrange reality,
Yeah.
like, how does God fit? Is there a place for him? Can someone still be like, oh, God, save us? You know, like, God, please help me.
Sure.
Like, does things like that matter?
I say
anymore?
this, and I know how weird it sounds, but he does become as long as his stories do not stay where they are and they don't surpass, because no one's adding to the Bible anymore. You know what I mean? They're translating it. They're retranslating
Tell that to the
it.
Mormons, you know?
Yeah, you know what I mean. But large scale, no one's really adding to the Bible. The stories kind of remain the same. Marvel is, dude, there's someone's parting the Red Seas every fucking issue. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They're literally starting entire multiverses over again.
Yeah.
God in the Old Testament never did that shit. Never. And so it's like,
Well, he did it once.
In a world
he did
where
relaunch the universe.
yeah. But in a world where kids are no longer kneeling praying to God and they're like holding Spider-Man after having just watched Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, the Hebrew God becomes a lesser God. You know what I'm trying to say? A lesser
Potentially.
God. He becomes a lesser God. He joins the ranks of Thor, which ironically got a resurgence of worship because he actually features in Marvel. But God becomes a lesser God, and he needs to join the ranks of, you know, Vishnu, not the Buddha who called himself a god, but Buddha, who is also making a resurgence. It's almost like stocks. Like, all right, these guys are trending right now. They're doing well
I think
right now.
it might be better to say, like, he joins the ranks of these comic book heroes rather than other gods.
I
right?
wouldn't even call I would call God a comic book villain. He kills so many people.
Potentially, yeah, but just like on the level of these superpowered beings, if that makes sense. Because
let me put it to you this way: I would not be
everyone
surprised.
believes in God.
I would not be surprised in maybe 30, 40 years that Jesus Christ himself is a character in Marvel Cinematic Universe, where like he can like walk on water.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've had some kind of like, let's go back in time kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like
maybe they didn't, because religion is a weird thing to talk about.
I'm not shitting on religion at all. If you're a Christian and you're not hurting anybody, okay, more power to you, whatever. All I'm saying is this. He's becoming a lesser god. They're not printing his stories anymore. You know what I mean? Like what would you rather do? Watch Spider-Man?
To play
Part 2?
To play devil's advocate, which is a really weird turn of phrase considering what I'm about to say.
Okay.
The whole idea, and maybe not the whole idea, but one of the things that religion does for people is it inspires hope.
Oh,
right?
fuck yeah.
Which a lot of those heroes already do, but I think that's kind of one of the things that religion, that God banks on, right?
Sure.
So he might not, like, he might still absolutely have a place. Be like, look, there are all these crazy things happening around me. There's people with spider legs coming out of their back, you know?
Sure.
There's people with skulls as their face, you know? Like, God help me. God save me.
Yeah.
Like, you're the hope that I have. This ideal of this perfect kind of peaceful place where I don't have to worry about my apartment building being smashed in by, you know, the villain of the week, Stiltman.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how many people scream Wakanda forever after February 14th?
Hell yeah.
2018. You know what I'm talking about? Just like you said, inspires hope, you know?
Debate point 1 goes to Kyle. Debate point 1 goes to Paul Kang as well.
I'm not shitting on you. Yeah, no. We're in total agreement. And it's just like, what? Even I want to.
It's something we can't really know.
If you're a Christian and you're listening and you're offended by this, I'm sorry. All right, I'm not shitting on you at all or your God. All I'm saying is
we're just spitballing here.
What makes you more what makes you more excited? Okay, my dear Christian friend, what makes you more excited?
Going to church?
Going to
Watching
church,
that next Marvel movie.
or watching that, or watching Black Panther Part 2. Like,
Mm.
what?
Preach.
Like, in your
Preach,
heart
brother.
of hearts, you Christians, like, deep
Calm
down, what makes your blood more excited? Just, come on. And it's like, God can't compete anymore. He can't. He died when the Beatles, played on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was over. Even John Lennon was like, we're more famous than Jesus right now, and he was right. Like,
Yeah.
Marvel's it. You can't, you can't. It's the best. It's the ultimate machine. It's religion.
Yeah. Crazy stuff to think about.
Yeah, and it's the one God that the audience can actually influence. That's the best part. That's why it's such a good religion. You give it enough money, they'll deliver. Your God will deliver.
I mean, if you're an atheist, you might say that the people have influenced all religion, but I digress.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry for beating a dead horse, but it's for me, it's
okay.
fascinating just watching all this.
Yeah.
It just clicked. I was like, oh, it's religion.
Last thing, and then we'll wrap it up here,
Yeah.
okay? If someone was to write a graphic novel that explored the relationship between religion and comic books,
Sure.
or religion in comic books, who would you want to write that book?
Ooh, I like how you're keeping this dialogue fresh. Who wrote Animal Man again?
Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison. Yeah, I want him to like dust off the old,
He's still making stuff.
No, but I want him to go old school, and I want him to like get high as shit. And who do I want to
One of
illustrate
his
this?
acid trips
Oh, yeah.
where he
Oh yeah, just I want him to go insane. I want him to lose his mind, and then think about this topic. And then I would have, who's someone that can do really trippy art? You know what? Just bring back
There's a
that
whole bunch
duo.
of
Just bring back
people.
that duo of Animal Man and Grant Morrison. The guy who did the art for that, because that show's
Yeah.
trippy as well.
Yeah.
Or someone that can do that similar style, but explore how Captain America is like perceived as God, or as a Christ figure.
I can see him doing that. I can also see a very angry and embittered, very like atheist. I mean, not even atheist, 'cause I don't know what his religion is, but just like very much like Captain America is this symbol of religion and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Alan Moore.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he would have some crazy theories and ideas
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But no, I think I'm wondering if I can find someone a little more like current and
Contemporary, sure. Young crazy guy. Maybe I'll just write it. I don't know.
I feel like G. Willow Wilson
Who's
could
that?
do a very, very interesting one. She is currently writing Miss Marvel,
Okay.
who is one of the hit breakout new characters
girl.
in comics within the past like
Mom
5
girl.
years. Miss Marvel, if you didn't know, Paul, is a young Muslim girl who's a superhero.
That's crazy. Could you
within
imagine
the
that
Marvel
comic book
universe.
30 years ago?
Yeah,
30
wouldn't
years ago.
wouldn't happen.
Christ.
But she is also a Muslim woman. No, is she Islamic? Is she? She's I don't know. I'm speaking out of my ass here. But I know she deals with a lot of that stuff in her daily life.
Sure.
So I feel like she could take that in a really interesting way and make it very relatable. Could be neat.
Yeah. For me,
Who knows?
I would just want to see the juxtaposition of like, I would almost want to see the characters become sentient, of like, they're like, whoa, like kind of like what Animal Man does, but be like, oh my god, we've become their gods. So something like that, but maybe more subtle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see that. That'd be really
Cool.
interesting. Because I think it's, I mean, have you heard people talk about it like this? How Marvel has become the new religion? Like, the Godhead?
Not really, no.
Because
I mean, like, I wouldn't put it past anyone, you know.
Sure, yeah.
But like,
Because you know that more kids are reading comic books than there are the Bible. You know that's true.
sure.
At least willingly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd love to see some numbers on that.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, I think we will wrap it up here. If you've been joining us live on Twitch, yes, you can join us live. Come hang out with us. Come chat with us in the chat. If you hated our discussion on MCU and the religion, if you think we're full of shit, you could have let us know live in the chat.
Listen to my cries.
What are you waiting for? Like, come tell us how big of idiots we are, you know?
I swear to God, on my mother's grave, she's still alive, but if we get, how many subscribers do we need?
We are hoping to get 50 followers on Twitch. Right now we have 10. We want that subscribe button.
I swear to God,
help us out.
If we get 50, I'll take a picture of my hairy asshole and I'll put it up on our Patreon.
Then.
And once you get 50, you can all look. Tell your friends. I'll do it. Kyle doesn't have to know. I'll do it.
I know you would do it. But we also don't want to give them reasons to not sign up. Anyways. But yeah, come watch us live on Twitch. We have multiple podcasts. We have this one, The Captain's Log, and we have The Whatnauts. The Whatnauts we stream live every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The Captain's Log we stream live every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So come hang out with us in the chat. If you cannot make those, that is A-okay. This will be up the following week on YouTube and as a podcast in whatever universe you are in. And if you like the show, if we made you laugh, if we made you smile, if we had some kind of thought-provoking discussion and you liked it, consider supporting our show at patreon.com/thewhatnauts for only $1 a month. It will help us out amazingly. Seriously, like the help goes so far, and that's like pocket change, guys. $1 a month.
I won't even shave my asshole. But just like a picture of my asshole.
But if you don't have any money, that's A-okay. Yeah. You don't have to give us any money if you don't want, just as long as you enjoy the show.
Think of the children.
I think, let's see, we will be... I don't know. I still have to figure out what the schedule is of like when this will be up and stuff like that. We just recorded an episode on what did we just do? What did we record on Sunday?
Ranma 1/2.
Ranma 1/2. Our latest episode of the Whatnauts was Ranma 1/2. The one that will be up this following weekend is on a graphic novel called Prince of Cats. So go check it out. It is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet from the perspective of Tybalt, but set in 1980s New York. So that sounds pretty cool. Go read that.
New York.
Go check it out. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll be back next week, though, with another episode of The Captain's Log. My name is Kyle Springer.
And I'm Paul Kang.
And we are the Whatnauts.
Goddamn right we are. Wake up, people.
Adios, guys.
Bye.